Okay, let's unpack this. It is January 19th, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, if you have been following the automotive world for, I don't know, the last decade,
At all, yeah.
you know that today isn't just another Monday. The energy right now, it's it's absolutely electric. Pun intended, of course.
Because for years we've been hearing about the Holy Grail.
Solid state battery.
Exactly. It's been the industry's favorite piece of vaporware for so long.
It was always 5 years away. Always. It was the stuff of, science fiction or maybe some very optimistic press releases.
Right.
But today, right now, looking at the news that's hitting the wires, it feels like we can finally stop waiting. The Holy Grail isn't coming. It has arrived.
It really is a significant moment. We're looking at a fundamental shift in how we think about energy storage, energy delivery.
And we're not just talking about a lab experiment anymore, are
No,
we?
not a blueprint, not a concept. We are talking about a car that is hitting the road this year.
And that is the huge headline we are diving into today. As of 2026, the first electric car powered by solid-state batteries is officially on the market.
And that car is the Chery Exeed Liefeng.
And, honestly, it's just wonderful news. It's wonderful because this changes the game completely.
A very specific, very ambitious vehicle.
So our mission today is to figure out why this car, and more importantly, the battery inside it, the Rhino S, is such a massive deal.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about numbers that, frankly, sound impossible, like a 1,500-kilometer range.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about safety tests that involve power drills.
Laughs slightly.
Yeah.
Those are pretty wild.
And we're going to look at why you might be riding in one of these before you can actually buy one.
It's a classic case of, new tech meeting real world strategy. But we can't get ahead of ourselves. We really need to appreciate the scale of this.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just an incremental update.
No, it's a leap.
So let's jump right into the specs, because when I first read these, I honestly thought it was a typo.
I can see why.
You have this car, the Exeed Liefeng, which is this really sleek shooting brake design, sort of coupe wagon hybrid.
Beautiful car.
And the claim is a driving range of 1,500 kilometers.
1,500 on a single chart.
That's over 930 miles.
It is absurd.
To put that into perspective for you, that is like driving from New York City to Chicago without stopping.
Or London to Berlin with juice to spare.
You aren't stopping for electrons anymore. You're stopping because you need a sandwich and a nap.
It's a number that effectively renders the concept of range anxiety obsolete. It's gone.
Yeah, if you have a tank that big, you're just driving.
You're not thinking about where the next charger is.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This is where you see the difference between, marketing hype and a real technological breakthrough.
Right.
Usually, with these massive range numbers, there's a giant asterisk next to them.
Of course. Only downhill or on a sunny day with a tailwind.
Exactly. But the sources we have for the Liefeng are highlighting something much more critical than just the distance. It's the environmental resilience.
This is the real story.
This battery is claimed to perform reliably at temperatures as low as -30 degrees Celsius.
-30. And that, for me, is the actual headline. The range is fantastic, but the temperature resilience is the engineering masterpiece.
Okay, so break that down. Why is that so important?
Well, you have to remember how traditional lithium-ion batteries work. They use a liquid or a gel electrolyte to move the ions around.
Right, and liquids get sluggish in the cold. I think anyone who's tried to start a car in a blizzard knows that.
Precisely. As it gets colder, that liquid becomes more viscous. It's like trying to swim through molasses.
So everything slows down.
Everything slows down, the internal resistance shoots up, and you lose a huge amount of efficiency. That's why EV drivers in, say, Norway or Canada or Minnesota can see their range drop by 30, even 40% in the winter.
Which is weather anxiety piled on top of range anxiety.
You got it. But Chery is claiming this solid-state tech holds up at -30. By replacing that liquid with a solid material, they've removed the problem.
The viscosity problem is gone.
Gone. They're telling the market the weather penalty for owning an EV no longer exists. That removes a massive psychological barrier for buyers in colder climates.
It really is the main selling point. It
Yeah.
makes an EV a truly viable option for people living in genuinely cold places, not just, sunny California.
Exactly.
But, okay, I have to geek out on the car for a second.
Yeah.
Because beyond the battery, this thing is an absolute beast.
It has the performance specs to match the tech for sure.
We're looking at an 800-volt architecture. That means super fast charging. It's got a 30,000 RPM electric motor.
Mm-hmm.
And the acceleration, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, in under 3 seconds,
which puts it firmly in supercar territory.
and a top speed of 260 kilometers per hour. So this isn't just some efficiency pod. It's a performance car. It has four-wheel steering, dual-chamber air suspension. It feels like they threw everything at this.
And that makes perfect sense. When you introduce a breakthrough tech like this, you don't put it in a budget city car.
No, you put it in a halo vehicle.
You put it in something that grabs headlines and shows what's possible.
Which brings us to the secret sauce. We keep saying solid state, but what exactly is under the floorboards of the Liefeng? The sources point to this Rhino S technology.
Right.
Right.
So this is Chery's proprietary battery tech. And to understand why it's special, we have to look at the chemistry. We said traditional batteries use liquid electrolytes.
Right.
The Rhino S obviously uses a solid one, hence solid state.
Okay.
Now, in the world of solid state development, there are basically three main paths you can take. You can use polymers, oxides, or sulfides. Each has its own pros and cons.
Man, Chery went with
According to our sources, Chery has placed its bet firmly on the oxide route.
the oxide route. What does that get?
Well, to oversimplify a bit, polymers are easier to make, but they have lower conductivity. Sulfides are superconductive, which is great for power, but they can be unstable and can release toxic gases if they get wet.
Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. Oxides, though, offer a fantastic balance. They are incredibly robust, almost ceramic-like materials. They offer high conductivity, but most importantly, they allow for incredible energy density.
And speaking of density, the number I saw coming out of their testing was an energy density of 600 watt-hours per kilogram.
600, that number is it's staggering.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't battery engineers, give us some context. What's a normal number for a good EV today?
A good, top-tier lithium-ion battery in a current EV might be somewhere around, say, 150 to 250 watt-hours per kilogram.
So 600 is.
Maybe pushing 300 in some very advanced cases. So 600 is double, potentially triple the density of what we're used to.
Wow. So you're basically fitting twice the gas in the same size tank.
That's a perfect analogy. Think of it like packing a suitcase. If you can fold your clothes, the energy 3 times tighter, you can fit 3 times as much into the same size bag.
And that's how you get a sleek car to go 1,500 kilometers without it being the size of a bus.
Exactly. You don't need a bigger battery, you just need a denser battery.
That density explains the range. But there's another factor here the sources really highlighted, and I think this is the one that captures people's attention.
Oh, the nail test.
I read this and I actually cringed a little. Tell us what they did to this poor battery.
Well, one of the biggest fears with traditional EVs is thermal runaway.
The battery fires we hear about.
Exactly. If you puncture a standard lithium-ion cell, the liquid electrolyte is basically a flammable organic solvent. It can catch fire very, very easily if it shorts, and it's hard to put out.
Right.
So, to prove the safety of the Rhino S, Chery subjected it to extreme abuse. They pierced it with nails. They drilled into it.
Literally took a power drill to a fully charged battery pack.
Yes. And the result? Nothing. No fire, no explosion. Because there's no flammable liquid electrolyte there to ignite.
That is incredible. I mean, we've all seen those scary news clips of EV fires. Knowing that this technology is chemically resistant to that kind of failure. That's huge for peace of mind.
It solves the safety concern just as effectively as it solves the range concern. You've got a system that is dense, efficient, and just incredibly stable. The ceramic nature of that oxide acts as a physical barrier.
Wow.
It prevents short circuits even when it's been damaged.
So, okay, we have the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
The range it feels infinite. Extreme cold performance is solved. And it doesn't catch fire when you drill it. The question is, can I go to a dealership today and drive off in a Liefeng?
Well, this is where the rollout strategy gets really interesting. And the short answer is probably not you, specifically, not yet.
There's always a catch.
It's not so much a catch as a really calculated move. The sources explain that while 2026 is the year of targeted operation, the first batch of these cars is not going to private garages.
Okay, so where are they going?
They are being deployed into ride-hailing and rental markets.
Wait, what? So the first people to experience the most advanced car technology in history are going to be people catching a cab.
It sounds counterintuitive, right? You have this premium cutting-edge car and you're using it as a taxi.
Yeah.
But from an engineering and data perspective, it's absolutely brilliant. If you want to test a new technology to its breaking point, who drives more than anyone else?
Taxi drivers.
Yeah,
Rideshare drivers. They're on the road all day, every day.
exactly. A normal owner might drive, 15,000 kilometers a year? A ride-hailing car could do that in a couple of months.
So they're just gathering a ton of data really fast.
A massive amount of operational performance data. They can monitor how that battery handles constant rapid charging, stop-and-go traffic, different weather, all in real-world conditions and super fast.
It's like a massive public beta test, but a very controlled one.
That's a great way to put it. It ensures that when they do hit large-scale mass production, which is targeted for 2027, just next year, any potential bugs are long gone.
They're validating the reliability on their own fleet before it gets to private customers.
Exactly. It's a much safer bet.
And it's worth noting, this is all under the Exeed brand.
Yeah.
That's Chery's premium arm, correct?
Yes, specifically the Exeed Liefeng, and the sources also mention an Exeed ES8, another model that might get this tech. They're building a premium lineup around this capability.
So they're starting at the top of the market, the Halo strategy.
And will likely let the tech trickle down as costs fall, which is the classic playbook.
And they aren't the only ones in the pool. We have to look at the landscape here. Chery might be grabbing the headline today, but is anyone else close?
It's definitely a race. Chery seems to be leading the pack for 2026 with this specific full solid-state claim. But if you look at the competition, SAIC.
The company that owns MG.
Right. They've been making a lot of noise about their Lightyear battery.
Great name, by the way. Lightyear.
It is. That battery is powering their IM-L6 sedan, and they've claimed it can push that car to over 1,000 kilometers.
But the sources make a distinction there, don't they?
They do. The sources classify the Lightyear as a semi-solid state battery.
Semi-solid. So that sounds like a halfway house.
It is, really. It's a transitional technology. It's bridging the gap. It still uses some liquid electrolyte mixed in with solid materials.
So it's safer and denser than what we have now.
Yes, but perhaps not quite at the level of the full oxide solid state that Chery is pitching with the Rhino S.
Got it. So Chery's going full solid, SIC is semi-solid. What about the big guys, the suppliers?
Well, CATL, the world's largest battery maker, is absolutely in the mix. They're entering trial production, so the supply chain is waking up.
Right.
But the contrast that really stands out to me, and the sources highlight this, is the international context.
You mean the legacy automakers? I feel like I've been hearing Toyota promise solid-state batteries since I was in high school.
And that's the interesting part. The sources note that giants like Toyota, Nissan, and Honda have historically said their big EV plans depend on solid-state becoming viable.
They were waiting for this moment to compete.
They hinged their entire future strategy on this holy grail.
And now it's here, but it's not coming from them.
Exactly. The sources actually describe the traditional automakers as laggards in this specific race, while the Japanese and European giants were waiting for the tech to mature in a lab somewhere.
Chinese tech leaders like Chery, Zeekr, XPeng, BYD
Were seemingly busy making it ready for the factory floor.
they weren't just waiting for the tech to be ready, they were figuring out how to manufacture it.
That's a very fair assessment. Industry experts believe that this period right now, 2026 to 2027, is the crucial window. This is the test. Can this tech be integrated at scale? Can it be made cost-effectively? Chery is shouting yes, and they're putting cars on the road to prove it.
It feels like a classic innovator's dilemma. The big guys were too cautious, and the disruptors just sprinted past them.
And now the incumbents are in a very difficult spot. If Chery proves this works at scale, the standard for what a competitive EV even is, it just shifts overnight.
Yeah, if the bar is suddenly the 1,000+ kilometers in total safety, a 400-kilometer lithium-ion car suddenly looks like a relic.
It looks like a DVD player in the age of streaming. It's just obsolete.
So let's bring this all together. What is the key takeaway for you, the listener, today, if we zoom out?
I think if we synthesize all this, the arrival of the Exeed Liefeng is the proof of concept the world was waiting for. The barriers that kept people from buying EVs, range anxiety, fear of cold weather, and safety concerns about fires,
Yeah, the big tree.
those barriers are, from a technical standpoint, solved by this technology.
Solved. That's a big word.
I don't use it lightly. High density means range is no longer a practical issue. That 600-way Chery is transformative. The oxide chemistry handles the cold and the safety. The only remaining hurdle is economic.
Cost and scale.
Exactly. And that's what this 2026 ride-hailing rollout is designed to crush. They're building the supply chain and driving down costs through massive fleet operations.
It really is extraordinary news. And I want to pause and just acknowledge that. The future of electric car batteries is solid state. We've all known that for a while. But the fact that we are sitting here in 2026 looking at the first ones rolling out onto the streets, it is wonderful. It's a wonderful piece of news for the industry and for all of us.
It is. It's the moment the technology matures from being promising to being present.
And it leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to chew on.
Oh, yeah.
If Chery is hitting 1,500 kilometers in negative 30-degree performance now in the first generation of this tech, and they are using fleets of taxis to gather data faster than anyone else,
Mm-hmm.
how quickly will the rest of the global auto market have to scramble just to catch up?
That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? The pace of innovation we are seeing here is not linear, it's exponential. If you're a competitor still tweaking your liquid electrolytes, you might find that the race has already moved to a different track entirely.
They're going to have to sprint just to stay in the race.
Absolutely.
And we will be watching every step of that sprint. Listen, I want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to you. Yes, you, listening right now. Thank you for your attention and for joining us on this deep dive into such wonderful news.
It's been a pleasure.
It's an exciting time to be watching this space, and we're so glad you're here with us.
Absolutely. Keep questioning, keep learning.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Bye for now.